Hi, back again with an article from my book, How to Get to How to Get the Line in the Best Shape Possible. So again, if you want that, just click the link below, and we can hook you up with that. So one of the next ones we're going to talk about are 6 things that could ruin your run that might surprise you. Okay, the first one is over focusing on running form or your breathing. A good study showed that in 3 groups, one that had to just focus on the running form, the second had to focus on the breathing, the third just watched a movie when they're on the treadmill. The running economy, so how much like oxygen and energy you were using when you were running, was better in the group who just focused on the movie. You want to be externally focusing. Park Harrington talks about that as well, like playing golf. The more you think about the actual like trying to hit the ball, just look down the course of where you want to hit it and then just hit it. Okay, and it's the same with running. You want to just focus externally, like focus where you're running to, and don't worry about your form. Good form is really important in running, but where you need to do that is with like Pilates or with like strides afterwards, like slight hills, not like super steep, just slight hills. It'll teach you good technique, making sure that you're able to move effectively through your hips, keeping your upper back correct, and doing drills. That's when you can work on form. But when you're actually running, just focus on running. Focus on like a head steady running towards where you're going. Don't be focusing on how you're moving or trying to land on your feet or toes or any of that stuff. That's absolute garbage. It will slow you down. It will probably cause more issues than it will fix. Okay, so if you want to fix and improve your running stride, do some drills like high knees, A skips. B skips are a bit complex. Strides, like just slightly up a hill. And Franz Bosch would actually say like have like a mat or have something that's going to alter your stride length. Okay, so like say if you had a mat, space, the ground again, and a slight mat, it'll make you be more, that'll naturally put you on your toes, as opposed to you should never try to be on your toes. You're going to hurt yourself if you do that. Secondly, your training partner. I always say a run shared is a run halved, but it's important that, and this will come to another one, it's important that the person you're training with is like at a similar enough level to you. Again, that'll link into your goals. Like if the goal of the run is just as a recovery run, you can go with someone who's slower than you, or if they're faster and they tell you they're going to go easy. But just make sure you don't want to be going with someone who's like 2 or 3 minutes a mile or a K slower than you, or a minute or 2 per K faster than you. You want to go with someone who's roughly at your level. Otherwise, you're going to be either overreaching or not pushing yourself enough. Okay, so again, I really encourage you, try get someone to run with. It's great for the accountability. It's great. It basically cuts a run in half. If I'm with one of the guys, the run flies compared to if I'm on my own. But just try get someone that's of a similar-ish standard. The next one then is running too frequently. Getting out for daily runs might make you feel better, but getting good, consistent training, you need slight breaks. Okay, so like I basically research at the University of Montana identified overtraining as the main cause of running injuries. I take 1 day off a week of running on a Friday. I do my Pilates that day. Make sure that or your gym. I have a set time in the year as well where you come right down. Okay, so you don't want to just be constantly doing the exact same amount of training. And that'll come to the goals section. There should be like peaks. This is a major mistake I see for people. They basically train all year round the exact same. So like if it's if it's freaking December, they're training the same as January, as February, as March. They might just do random races. You should have different seasons or different like set goals for your training. So sometimes you should be like, okay, I'm going to do a series of 5Ks over the next 6 weeks and like target out specific races or 10Ks. And then after that, you should have a kind of lull period. Okay, so usually in August, I nearly take the month off. Now you don't have to go off complete exercise. I might do day on. Usually take about 2 weeks or 10 days completely off, no training, and then go back day on, day off of running if you want. Or I like to go to something different, like cycling or swimming, or just do something different. Do that for another like 10 days. So the whole month should feel a bit more relaxed. It allows your body to refresh and be ready for the next thing. If you're just constantly doing the same training, very chance that you'll get repetitive. You need to kind of drop down a little bit to peak up again. Okay, so you need to set little set areas. Like sometimes you might be doing a bit more aerobic work, and then you could come in and start running, start doing kind of specific stuff, say 3 or 4 weeks before you start races. Then when you're into racing, you'll just maybe race every second week for like 3 or 4 races, and then take your down week. And if you do that, you're going to see much bigger improvements in your racing form than you would if you just constantly train the same and just randomly do races whenever you feel like it. Okay, doing the same runs. This is probably the main fault I see with amateur runners. They have like a set loop that they do, and they just do it in the same distance, same time the whole time. Okay, and basically there is a principle of progressive overload, which is that your body will adapt to the stress they place on it. So if you train at this level, initially you would have seen improvements in your fitness, but eventually then your body gets used to that, and you're not going to see any changes in your fitness, in your physique, or in your fitness levels, as I said there. So what you want to do is change up the type of training you're doing. So even if it's the same loop, say you're going, I only go out for my run, that's fine. You could still even do the same loop. But what I would say is maybe instead of just running at the same pace the whole time, how about you just go, okay, today now I'm going to run easy for the first 5 minutes of this loop. Then I'm going to go harder for like, say, 3 minutes, take a minute easy jogging, 2 minutes hard, take a minute easy jogging, 1 minute hard. And I'll do that, say, 3 times, and then jog in the last bit of the loop. And just change up what you do. Next time you could do 4 by 5 minutes of 80% running, like tempo. Or you could try like jog for 10 minutes and then do more shorter, like 10 by 1 minute, and picking it up, slowing it down for 1 minute off. Just vary up the training. That keeps progressing on the type of variation that you're seeing in your training, and you'll see a lot. One, will reduce the amount of injuries you're getting because you're changing the range of motion. You're not just hitting the ground. The joints aren't just going through that very small range of motion the whole time. They're moving through a different range. You're going to be using your muscles differently, which that variety will just keep your body like healthy. Then the next one is static stretching. Not really needed. I do a little bit of static stretching now before a session, before going into more dynamic exercises and dynamic stretching. Again, I find foam rolling and myofascial release to be way better to prevent injuries than just static stretching. There's actually not a lot of evidence behind static stretching in reducing injury risk. Strength training, like stuff like sports Pilates, is going to get a lot bigger reductions in injury because you need to fire up these muscles. When you're running, I think of all the injuries that you get when you're running, they're like Achilles tendonitis, they're like plantar fasciitis, they're like knee pain. They're not muscle injuries because we're more using the ligaments and the joints when we land to push off. So very good aerobically, like gets you breathing hard and gets your heart pumping, which is great cardiovascular fitness. But you also then need more than stretching. It's not like the muscles aren't tight per se. What you need to do is like switch those muscles on, get them working and get stronger muscles, which will then take pressure off the joints. Okay, the muscles don't need to be stretched, the muscles need to be strengthened. And if you were doing that instead of stretching, you're going to see massive improvements. And then last thing, as I kind of alluded to this, running without a goal. Every run you go on or every gym session, you should know what is the key aspect I'm looking for here, okay? It's a bit bright because the light is coming in, so I'm looking at myself here. I'm a bit squinty. But anyway, we'll got on with it. You need to have a goal. Is it a recovery run? Are you doing a session? You should basically have a day off, a day in between every hard session. You shouldn't be running hard every day. So if you go a day hard, the next day should be relatively easy. Day hard, relatively easy. You might take a rest day then a following day. But you need to know what you're doing. Otherwise, as I said, all the runs just blend in together. And yes, you'll see a bit of improvement when you start, but very quickly that will cause you to, drop the intensity that you're doing. So, and to see the fitness gains. So you want to make sure that know every time you go out, okay, am I running? Is it recovery? Yes. Okay, well, let's all go easy. I could go with a friend and we can both jog easy. The next day, you need to have the plan written down. That's another thing. Sorry, I'm going to put that in as number 7. Write a plan down. Have it down on paper. Monday I'm doing this. Tuesday I'm doing this. Wednesday I'm doing this. There should be never a day that you're going out and go, what will I do? Because what'll happen then is things just get in the way. You're like, you know what? I was going to go for a 40-minute run. I only have time for a 20-minute run. You need to have things written down and then commit to it. Put it on your fridge. Have it on your phone. So all you're doing is set it out. Every second day it'll be something hard. Okay, I'll do like 10 by a minute on, minute off. Next day it'll be just an easier run or Pilates or a swim or a cycle or whatever it is. The day after that, and again, I'm doing 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 3 sets of that. So then you just go there, and then because when it's written down, you'll know when you need to, you'll change your day around. Okay, like so today I knew I had a session and a kind of long run. It's going to take roughly about 2 hours from when you go out the door to when you're coming back. And I had a few things on. I had something on at 9:15. So it just meant, now I usually don't have to get up this early, but it just meant I had to get up early today. Whereas like if I just woke up, it's like, oh, well, I have something on, I'll just do a 50-minute run. You need to plan everything down, and then you can adjust things around to make sure you get your runs in. If you're just going out the door thinking, what will I do? It's just too wishy-washy. You're not going to see the results. Okay, so I hope that helps. There's a good few more articles like that in the book. If you want it, just click the link. New product coming out soon. Very excited about it. The back wear belts. We'll be telling you more about it if you join our email list as well. It's going to really revolutionize your technique and the way you lift, so that's me safer and much greater confidence to know that you're actually doing the right thing rather than trying to help yourself but be frustrated because you actually are doing it incorrectly. Okay, exciting times ahead.